Hi guys. A couple of days ago, I made a community post and it was just a text post. And it says, if you are a fan of space exploration, can you give me one legitimate reason why any human being should take an interest in exploring a dark black void where everything is perpetually falling? And I got some interesting comments. Flat Earth Math left a comment that says, I reject the premise of your question. There is no dark void where everything is perpetually falling. So I replied, science, bro. That is what physics says about the solar system. Why don't you know this? Nothing exists in the solar system that is not perpetually falling around a larger body of mass. And then Charles from Flat Earth Math said, I repeat, there is no dark void where everything is perpetually falling. One of the primary characteristics of falling is losing altitude in an uncontrolled manner. Manned space exploration has none of that. Hence, your original question is a non-starter. Why would anyone want to? Followed by a deliberate mischaracterization of manned space exploration. Oh, Charles. Oh, Charles. I am going to make you listen to Michelle Thaler and just to get an idea. And then we'll listen to some astronauts telling you about this bottomless pit that I've been trying to, open your eyes to. I don't know why you're against it. Then Charles says, you are not being honest. An orbit is not falling. It never has been, and it never will be. Perpetually falling is an analogy, and it's amazing to me that you're gonna double and triple down just because you refuse to acknowledge the past 65 years of progress in manned spaceflight, let alone the past 80 years of space rocketry. That's not true at all, Charles. I don't know where you get that I don't acknowledge these things. I actually follow it pretty closely.
So what's going on? Why are they floating around? Well, this is what an orbit really is. We have to get spacecraft going very, very fast to put them into orbit. That's why we put them on rockets. Rockets launch spacecraft and get them going very, very fast. And if you're in orbit where the space station is, you're traveling at about 17,000 miles an hour. Now, what happens to those astronauts is that they're going very, very fast, but they're actually freely falling towards the Earth.
Michelle Thaler is backing up the premise of my question, Charles. So when you say that an orbit is not falling, why is it that Michelle, who's an astrophysicist that works at NASA, why does she say that it is falling?
But they're actually freely falling towards the Earth. The Earth has gravity, and that gravity is pulling them down, just the same as what would happen as if you dropped a ball. If you dropped a ball, it would fall to the floor. The same thing is happening to the astronauts. They are falling towards the surface of the Earth. But here's the cool thing. They're going so fast, they keep missing the Earth as they fall. And that's the definition of an orbit. With a rocket, you could get something going so fast, up to 17,000 miles an hour, that as it fell freely towards Earth, Earth would keep curving away under it and it would keep missing it. That's what an orbit is. And that's why you need a rocket to get into orbit. You need to get yourself going so fast that as you fall back towards Earth, you keep missing it. So the astronauts are not weightless because there's no gravity in space. The astronauts are falling.
You're telling me I'm not being honest. An orbit is not falling. Well, an orbit is falling, Charles.
So the astronauts are not weightless because there's no gravity in space. The astronauts are falling, the same way a skydiver is falling freely through space. It's just that they're going so fast, they keep missing the Earth. They are all the time falling towards the Earth, going fast enough that they keep missing it. Everything that's in orbit around anything else is doing the same thing. Right now, you and I are falling freely towards the sun. The moon is in orbit around the Earth. It's falling towards the Earth, it's just traveling so fast, it keeps missing it. Everything in space that is orbiting is freely falling under gravity.
So my last video was actually about what an orbit is, and I went to ChatGPT just for some general information about it. And he didn't, Flat Earth Math didn't like how I asked or something. Effed Up World, can you name a single astronaut who explored a deep black void? You keep ignoring your original question. Did you watch that Marcus House video yet? I've always watched Marcus House, I said. Yes, in fact, the astronauts talk about space using the words bottomless, abyss, a dark void, blackness, darkness, etc. I just added darkness there. And then he said, I'm not talking about how they describe space. That's too broad. How do they describe what they do? Do any of them describe it as exploring a deep, dark, black void? The answer is no. Well, you're wrong, Charles. Why would you say that? The answer is not no. It's actually yes. And so that's what the rest of this video is. I'm just going to play the astronauts describing it for you. Hence the original, why would anyone want to, premise of your original question is based on word games, not the reality of what real astronauts do. No, it is the reality of what real astronauts do. So here we go. Here's some astronauts' testimony for you, Charles. Be careful not to entertain angels unaware.
My name is Emily, and my question is, how does it feel to know that you are floating in a piece of metal in an endless void?
That's a very scary question.
I remember going out the door one time in the middle of the night pass, and it was like just black as black. And going out the door, really, and all you could see was what the helmet lights were illuminating with structure around you. And beyond that was black. You couldn't see stars because of the reflection of the helmet lights off the structure. And it was like an abyss.
Like an abyss.
Yeah. So if you have a fear of things like that, you're probably in the wrong business.
So deep it almost has a texture when you look at it. The weird part about it is space is so incredibly black, so incredibly dark. It's a bottomless pit of deep black, almost.
And realize that we're on this very special place, and this precious island in this abyss of darkness.
Is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone. But to see the blue color go whoop by, and now you're staring into blackness. Well, it's blue sky, and then suddenly you shoot through it all of a sudden, as though you whip off a sheet off you when you're asleep, and you're looking into blackness, into black ugliness, and you look down. There's the blue down there, and the black up there, and it's there. Is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone. Like a beat, and suddenly you're through the blue. And you're into black. And you're into, it's mysterious and galaxies and things. But what you see is black. And what you see down there is light. And that's the difference. And not to have this, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the enormity and the quickness and the suddenness of life and death. And oh my God. It is something.
What you were saying about shooting through it so fast.
So quickly, 50 miles.
Then you're just in blackness.
You're in death.
Yeah.
The moment
This is life.
This is life, and that's death. And it's in an instant, you go, wow, that's death. That's what I saw.
That's amazing.
Is the death around the Earth that's startling? Pitch black. Death.
You're in death.
Yeah.
The moment
This is life.
This is life, and that's death. And it's in an instant, you go, wow, that's death. That's what I saw.
That's amazing.
Death. In the middle of pitch black. Death. A vacuum of space.
The weird part about it is space is so incredibly black, so incredibly dark. It's a bottomless pit of deep black, almost so deep it almost has a texture when you look.
Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone.